Branch Line Engines is the 16th book of the Railway series, and was first published in 1961. It was written by the series creator Wilbert Awdry, and illustrated by John T. Kenny. 25 years later, all 4 of its short stories were adapted into short episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. How faithful were these adaptations? Let's see if we can spot the differences. In the first illustration of the book, Thomas is boasting to Percy and Toby that he no longer needs his driver. In the episode, the conversation happens at the Farquhar sheds.
Don't be so daft,
snorted Percy.
I'd never go without my driver,
said Toby earnestly.
I'd be frightened. Pooh,
boasted Thomas.
I'm not scared.
The next morning, Thomas starts to move out of the shed due to a careless cleaner. In the episode, he is positioned in the middle track of the sheds between Percy and Toby. Also, as it would be in real life, Thomas's movement begins at a slow pace, whereas in the television series, he shoots off like a car. Realizing that he can't stop, Thomas hopes that the buffers at the end of the siding will stop him. In the book, there are no buffers at the end of the track Thomas is on, but in the episode, there is at least a wooden post in a mound of earth. Also, the short distance between the rails and the house is a lot shorter. Besides the station master's wife, the family are wearing different clothing. Thomas's face is half hidden by the bush, but in the illustration, only one side is slightly obscured.
You miserable engine,
she scolded.
Just look what you've done to our breakfast. Now I shall have to cook some more.
The narration in the book states that the rescue didn't occur until much later in the day, due to everyone being too busy. With this missing information in the episode, we are to assume help arrived straight away. The illustration shows either Donald or Douglas has their nameplate placed in the space above their face. At the end of the previous book, the Scottish twins were told that since they'd be staying on Sodor, they would be given nameplates in addition to the numbers on their tenders, and painted blue. As this was their first appearance since that story, it is possible that Kenny was not reminded of the paint change by Awdry. By their next appearance in the 18th Railway Series book, the twins were given the paint they were promised, and their nameplates had been moved to their sides, which is where they are also located in the television series, minus the paint change. In the episode, Thomas's funnel is not damaged, nor does he have a window frame around his smoke box. The bush is more prominent in front of his mouth, which makes more sense than in the book's illustrations since the tank engine's voice is supposed to be muffled, yet the leaves are barely causing an obstruction. The other difference to this scene is that Percy and Toby are present.
You must go to the works and have your front end mended. Meanwhile, a diesel rail car will do your work. Diesel, sir.
Thomas spluttered.
Yes, Thomas. Diesels always stay in their sheds till they are wanted. Diesels never gallivant after breakfast in station masters' houses.
The next story introduces Daisy the diesel rail car. In all her illustrations in the Railway series, her face is green, matching the rest of her body. In the TV series, her face is grey like all the other engines, and she also has makeup applied. This was of course done to make the first female engine in the series look more feminine, and also so they could reuse the face for Boko. When Percy and Toby meet Daisy in the episode, the Steamies and Diesel are separated by a platform. The carriage shed is shown to be a lot smaller in the book, and located near some houses at Farquhar.
This is dreadfully smelly. I'm highly sprung, and anything smelly is bad for my swerves.
Daisy is supposed to be collecting her passengers from Farquhar Station, i.e. the station Thomas stops at during the opening title sequence, but in the episode she is at Elsbridge. The passengers stand on the platform as they wait for Daisy to start up. In the book, they board her as soon as she introduces herself and remain on even during her argument about the milk van.
They expect me to pull that. Surely,
said her driver.
You can pull one van. I won't,
said Daisy.
Percy can do it. He loves messing about with trucks.
The wooden van was replaced by a milk tanker in the episode, brought to Daisy by Toby. In the book, we are given a little backstory about Thomas's morning milk delivery. The narrator doesn't mention at any point that Percy is at the station too, though Kenny still painted him into this scene's illustrations.
I can't understand,
said the shunter.
Whatever made the Fat Controller send us such a feeble,
Spluttered Daisy.
Let me stop arguing.
Grumbled the passengers.
We're late already.
Bullseyes was not adapted for television until Series 4 of Thomas and Friends, almost 10 years later. After that, despite Daisy being featured in several stories written by Christopher Awdry, Daisy did not return until Series 20 of the show, besides a cameo in Calling All Engines. In the book, Daisy mocks Toby's cowcatchers and side plates while they are both parked in a siding. In the episode, they meet at Elsbridge Station.
I've not got stupid cowcatchers, but I'm not frightened. I just toot, and they'd all get out of the way. Animals always run, if you toot and look them in the eye.
Even bulls?
Even bulls.
Champion winds up in the middle of the tracks after he breaks through the fence off his field. In the book, the bull is cross with his farmer because he hasn't finished his breakfast, and so he runs off after they try to put him in a cattle van. It is also said that he jumped over the fence. The policeman had come along with Daisy, and once they find the bull, he and the guard try to shoo him away from the diesel. In the episode, the policeman stays at the station, and Daisy's guard remains inside her.
Go on, Daisy,
said her driver.
He's harmless.
Yes, you know he's harmless, and I know he's harmless.
But does he know?
Besides, look at his horns. If I bumped into him, he might hurt them.
Toby is told about Daisy's predicament by her passengers, but in the episode, without being told, Toby already seems to know the situation. The farmer collects Champion on his own, whereas in the book he has two men with him, and they have canes. It is said that Toby and Percy tease Daisy for the rest of the day, but this is not shown to have occurred in the episode.
I've got a quarter of bullseyes. I think they're super, don't you?
Said Daisy. Keep your old bullseyes.
The last story in the book returns us to the show's second series. The opening narration in the episode fills in for the absence of bullseyes by informing us Daisy is frightened of large farm animals. Toby and Percy meet at the shed from the episode Daisy, but in the book they are at a station.
I see Daisy's left the milk again. I'll have to make a special journey with it, I suppose.
Grumbled Percy.
Anyone would think I'd nothing to do. Tell you what,
Replied Toby.
I'll take the milk. You fetch my trucks.
Percy claims to have never been to the quarry before. This is true in the railway series, but in the television series he had visited it once before in Percy and Harold.
This is Toby's place. Percy's got no right to poke his funnel up here and push us around.
They whispered and passed the word.
Pay Percy out. Come along.
Puffed Percy.
No nonsense. We'll give him nonsense.
Giggled the trucks.
The main reason the trucks are able to push Percy out of control is the track leading to and from the quarry is very steep. In the episode, the ground all seems quite level. Another moment missing from the episode is when Percy runs over a cockerel's tail feathers. Crashing into the brake van covers Percy in dust or dirt, which does not happen in the book. Also, the trucks in the yard the small engine collides with are full of stone, but they appear to be empty in the episode.
We must now try,
Said the Fat Controller.
to run the branch line with Toby and a diesel. You have put us in an awkward predicament. I'm sorry, sir.
The Fat Controller makes a reference to the events of Bullseyes when confronting Daisy about her laziness. This line was naturally not added to the episode, as said story hadn't happened yet. Unlike the book's illustration, it appears no damage has been done to Percy's buffers in the episode, which is supposed to be why he is taken away to be mended at the end of the story.
Our Toby is an experienced engine.